Before you eat your next meal, I want you to imagine something. Imagine if your bread was not made of flour, but of sawdust. Imagine if your water was not life, but poison. In World War II, American soldiers were trapped in two different kinds of hell. On one side, the freezing starvation of the Nazi camps. On the other, the brutal jungle torture of the Japanese Empire. One wanted to break their bodies, the other wanted to break their souls. But the question remains, which one was worse? Today, we are going to look at the facts and let you decide.
War was not fought solely with tanks and guns. Inside the wire, hunger was a weapon designed to hollow a man out from the inside. In the Nazi camps, life hung by a thread of just 150 to 200 calories a day. Imagine this. Breakfast was coffee, but not as you know it. It was a black, bitter water made from burnt seeds or roots. Lunch was soup, usually rotting turnips or potatoes floating in water, and often it was thickened with sand or dirt just to add weight. And dinner? A single thin slice of black bread. Prisoners ate it desperately, never realizing it was often mixed with sawdust, wood shavings, added to the dough just to make the stomach feel full, whether it could digest it or not. If you think that was hell, look to the Pacific. In the Japanese camps, the nightmare was different. Here, a prisoner's life depended on a bowl of rice, but it wasn't white. It was often crawling with maggots and weevils. The starvation was so primal, men didn't pick the bugs out, they ate them. Protein was protein. The water was poison. Contaminated supplies meant dysentery and cholera killed as many men as bullets did. The survival instinct took over. American soldiers were forced to hunt snakes, rats, and even eat grass just to stay alive. This wasn't just starvation, it was the total erasure of humanity. For the men captured in this war, survival wasn't just about finding food, it was about surviving the work. The Nazis had a specific doctrine for this. They called it destruction through labor. In the Nazi quarries, men were forced to break stone for 12 to 14 hours a day. It was a calculated system. If you stopped, you were shot where you stood. If you fell, you were left behind. But the real killer was the cold. At 20 degrees below zero, their thin uniforms offered no protection. The fabric would freeze, sticking to their skin, turning fingers and toes into black, dead flesh. Frostbite took what the bullets didn't. Half a world away, in the Japanese jungle camps, the suffering was different. To the Japanese Imperial Army, a prisoner of war had no honor. To surrender was shameful, and that shame justified every horror they inflicted. Torture was creative and barbaric. There are reports of the infamous bamboo torture. A prisoner would be tied down over a young bamboo shoot. Over days, the plant would grow, slowly piercing through the body. Nature itself was turned into an executioner. And then there was the Burma Railway. Thousands of Allied prisoners were forced to hack through the steaming jungle to build a track for their captors. They say that for every wooden sleeper laid on that track, one prisoner died. It was a railroad built on bones. War does not spare anyone, not even the women. In the Nazi concentration camp of Ravensbrück, the cruelty was designed to strip away their identity. Upon arrival, their heads were shaved. It was a calculated move to erase their femininity, to make them feel less like humans and more like numbers. But the true horror was in the medical block. There was a group of women known as the rabbits. Nazi doctors used them as laboratory animals. They would break the bones in their legs just to see how they would heal. They would infect their wounds with bacteria just to test new drugs. Pregnant women had no hope. Their babies were taken away the moment they were born. In the Pacific, the suffering took a different form. Under the Japanese occupation, thousands of women were forced into institutionalized slavery. They were known as comfort women. They were held in jungle camps far from civilization. Here, the enemy was not just the soldiers, it was the jungle itself. Malaria was everywhere. There was no medicine. There was no mercy. If a woman became too sick to serve, she was not treated. She was dragged into the forest and left alone to die. This is a side of the war history often tries to forget.